It's Monday, September 8th, 2008, time for another Small Talk Daily with James Robertson of Syncom Systems. This morning I want to take an example application that I built last week, the iTunes alarm clock, and build a runtime executable with that. We're going to do this in two steps. Today we're going to create a runtime image. Tomorrow I'm going to go through how to wrap that up into an application bundle on the Mac, and then the day after that we'll do the same thing by creating an executable on Windows. So let's get started. First thing we want to do is load the parcel, and the way I did that was just to take the package that I stored in store and dumped it out onto disk. Now I can load it in. Having done that, I want to bring in the runtime packager, because the runtime packager is the tool that I use to create the runtime image. So let's bring this parcel manager up, and we want to bring in runtime packager, so we load that. Now having loaded that, we go to the tools menu, bring up runtime packager. Now I want to close this workspace, get that out of the way. It's not an essential tool. And this tool is kind of a step-by-step wizard. So I'm going to go next, and it's going to ask me to clean up the image. Typically it's a good idea to press this. If you started from a clean image, you shouldn't see anything here. If you see something here, it's probably a problem. So the next step here is to set the common options. Again, do this step. And this is pretty basic. You're telling the system when you start your application what class should be fired off first. So here I'm telling it iTunes alarm clock, and I have to fully specify the namespace. And then what startup method, since it's a GUI, it's open. And then when you save the image, what name should I save it under? Now I'm going to save it as something called resource, which when I go through creating the executable on the Mac, you'll understand why I'm doing that. There are a bunch of other options I can set. I'm going to leave those be for now and just hit OK, because those are all optional. We'll go to next. Specify classes and methods to keep. Here, this is something, again, you should do, and really all you really have to do here is go down to your package, in this case iTunes alarm clock, select everything of yours. Any methods that are marked contingent, probably a good idea to select all of them. Move them over here to kept. Move the classes that are contingent to kept. Again, select this. Anything there still, move them over. That's really all you have to do. Set OK on that. Now go through here, scan for unreferenced items. This will do a little bit of intelligent scanning through the image, looking for things you don't really need, like all of the system development classes. So I'll go ahead and select that. Next, next, next. You can skip most of these, but here, test application is an interesting one. I'm going to do this, and I'll show you why. What it's going to do is it's going to, when I hit this begin test, it's going to go ahead and it's going to install method wrappers around everything and allow me to run the application as if I had already stripped it. So here's my application. Now notice when I moved it, it found something. So I'm going to start toggling the slider bar, start typing here, and nothing else came up, so I'm just going to close that. And now I'm going to tell it I want to accept those dynamic references, and that means that I'm going to accept all the code that it found that I didn't tell it to save, but the system thinks I ought to save. Now I'm going to end the test. Now it's going to restore everything back, basically take the method wrappers off. And once it's done, I can close this. Actually, I should hit OK. And now I go next, go to the end here. Before I go this step, I want to save my parameters. And the reason I want to do this is that if I'm going to do this stripping action again, I'd probably not want to have to go through all these steps. So if I save this, it means that all I have to do is bring in the new image code that I've created, and then it'll just allow me to run as if I did this all before. So I'll hit save, and now finally do this step. And it'll ask me, do you really want to do this? I'll say yes. Prompt me again. And what it's going to do is it's going to go through here and show me the progress that it's making on stripping stuff. And it'll run for a little bit on that. Once it finishes that, it's going to pop up a little dialog box. And here it's telling me that it's about to save. Then there's going to be one more dialog that comes up when it's done. And here it's telling me it's about to quit. Now at this point I should have a runtime executable. So let's go ahead and bring a prompt over here, and I'll try it out. Resource.im is what it should have saved as. And there's my alarm clock application all ready to go. Now if I take a look at that, ls minus L on resource.im, there it is, 8.8 megabytes, and I can compress that down, but I'll go through that another day. what I've got now is a runtime application. The development code is out. I've just got the application so that if I bring it up, it brings up my GUI. Tomorrow we'll go through wrapping that into an application bundle for the Mac to make it fully double-clickable. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed that.